Hello everyone, I'm here today to do the, I don't know, when was the last time I recorded? October, November, December update? Who knows? You probably would have seen from one of my other Flosstube videos that I've actually finished the gamer. So I'm not going to show you here today because she's got her own video just for yourself. So if you haven't seen that yet, if you're interested in how she turned out, yes, she's finished. I would recommend just go and have a look and admire her. We're going to start with Death by Cross Stitch, as this is actually still on the stand. Everything else is rolled up on scroll bars. So we'll start with Death by Cross Stitch. I think I have, let's get this thread out of the way. So I have been working over this side, so I've got that knot motif done and bringing some of the border down, and then I went back over to here. You can see there's a flower just here that's repeated here, so I've got to fill in the two triangle bits and frame it, and this bit here just comes all the way down and frames where the Pegasus will be. So I thought I'd stitch that bit once I'm ready to get the Pegasus in. So I don't make a lot of progress on this. I get distracted by other things. But yeah, it's looking really pretty. Really pleased with how it's turning out. I'm going to try and spend some more weekends on it. But there we go. That's it for now. Next I thought I'd get a couple of finishes filmed. Oh, I'll go the other way. Got a new camera, just getting used to it. This is the Lizzie Kate Spirit of Christmas Mystery Stitch Along. I kept up with it for once. Got it done all in good time, but I didn't get the framing done in time for Christmas. I haven't got a frame yet. It's one of the things I'll sort out in the new year. I've got several things that need little frames done for them. So what's there to say? It was all done with the kit really. So Picture This plus Heartland fabric. I stitched mine on 32 count even weave and all called for threads, and added the buttons and the beads last. So that'd be nice to get that one framed. Next up we have the Country Cottage Needleworks Snow Place Like Home. It's a bit wrinkly. I've ironed it and then I rolled it up to keep it out the way, keep it safe, and it's wrinkled again. It's lamb's wool fabric. It wrinkles just by looking at it, I'm sure. So again, this is another one I need to get framed. I'm not sure if I want to make a wall hanging with a flat fold or something like that, or just get a nice little frame for it. So let's zoom in on the various parts. So there we have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I didn't put the French knots on the trees. If you see the French knots on his eyes, then you'll understand why. They're looking a bit bug-eyed. They're probably just concerned about that giant snowflake that's about to fall on them. So yeah, another finish just in time for the end of the year. So after I finished Gamer, I thought I would spend some time just flitting around various projects. I've been concentrating on her for so long now that I know, even though I have loads of other stuff started, I've got plans to do things, it takes a little while to settle back into working on something, focusing on it. So I decided good time of year to get Santa Owl out. So I've started to, well, I finished his eye. Now I'm working on the feathers around the eye, and there's some of the blue of his wing, and that's a page end there. So this one's almost a full page. It is very confetti heavy, especially these bits. The next page I've only partially gridded because there's only 3 columns. A little bit goes on to the 4th, but there's not a lot. So I don't plan on having any finishes next year, but I'm sure if I worked on him, I would be able to get that finished, because this is the next biggest page. That first page that I did, that was the biggest page. His hat didn't take long. On this row, there's the page I've started and 2 other pages, partial pages to do, and then the bottom there's 3 partial pages. So he wouldn't take long to do, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to fit him in. So it's gotten Christmas now. I don't know if I might give him a couple of months break and then get back to him. Stitching him on, the fabric colour is Radioactive, and it's by Chromatic Alchemy. It's 25 count, so I'm stitching it 1/1 with the DMC threads. And the pattern is Santa Owl. The artist is Anya Kai, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So once I had worked on Santa Owl for a bit, we got to the 21st of December, and that's when the first of the main stitch alongs started in the Full Coverage Cross Stitch Fanatics. Full Coverage Fanatics? It's a Facebook group. And P started it. So we're all doing lots of full coverage stuff and lots of full coverage challenges this year. So the first one, the theme of the stitch along is winter, because we started it on the first day of winter. So I decided to get out Snow Girl. It's another by Heaven and Earth Designs, but it's a retired piece. The artist is Neen Thomas. She charts her own work now, so if you're interested in any of her stuff, check out her website. So obviously Snow Girl speaks for itself. It's wintry. It feels cold. There's some snowflakes. Just see some snowflakes. Just getting down to her hair, and there's a lot of colour changes in those little bits. But it was quite nice to get her out and work on her. She's probably my oldest whip. She'll be a focus at some point, just not yet. So I've got 3 months to get some work done on her. She features in my 2018 plans because she fits into quite a few of the stitch alongs in that group, even if I have to shoehorn her in. She's going to get sometime this year. So this is the penultimate page on the top row. So I'd like to get this page finished and then the next page done. So it would be nice to get onto the second row. I'm moving around quite a bit. It'd be nice to get onto the second row. So, there we have it. I've done a little bit of stitching. I think I was up here, so I've done a few rows. But as I said, it's difficult to settle once you've had a big finish. But I'm getting ready now, getting ready to focus on another one. And then on Christmas Day, I had a new start. And this is what I stitched since Christmas Day. It's a chart called Trick or Treat. The artist is Randall Spangler. It's one of his houses. It's the Haunted House one. Chart by Heaven and Earth Designs. Now this is the original version of the chart that was produced. It totals 90 pages. It is almost supersized. I think the length of it is 890 stitches, and supersized, the longest edge is 999. So it was before they were doing the supersize, and this came out and I snapped it up straight away because I loved it. And then a number of people were saying that the size was putting them off, so it got recharted a little smaller. So I don't know how many versions of it you can buy, whether you can still get this version of it. I don't think there's a big difference in the designs apart from that little size difference. I don't think they made it much smaller because keeping the details. Now this, probably about half a page that I've stitched so far. I'm stitching it on the 28 count easy count from Zweigart. I don't know if I can zoom in close enough for you to see. Yeah, the holes are a bit more noticeable than Monaco fabric. Monaco, the fabrics are denser. I don't know if that's the right word. So the holes look smaller, whereas these holes are quite gappy, which is good if you have trouble seeing the holes on the other fabric. It does look a bit see-through when I can see the Christmas lights through it on the other side while I'm stitching, but the only difference I've noticed is that on this one I do get my threads slip between the strands of the fabric. So instead of getting a nice diagonal, you end up with a straight stitch or a stretched diagonal that goes into the hole after the one that you wanted. So I have to make sure that I'm not pulling on my thread too much, which isn't usually a problem for me. Or if it does keep slipping, that I change tack of where I'm bringing the needle up and go through a different hole just to stretch the thread across the back a bit more so that it minimises that slippage. So there's 87 colours in this chart and I have used 64 already. The leaves are just beginning to look like leaves. It is so zoomed in that this is just stitching blobs of colour. But I've got several pages of leaves and twigs to go really. I think across the top there's 9 pages. 10 rows of 9 pages, so 90 pages in total. So it's going to take me a long time, and I've been putting this off for quite a while. I've always wanted to start it. I've had it kitted up since I got it, but it was just, it's so big and it's so daunting. Yeah, even I get it. And I stitched some big pieces. But I started it. It will probably never be a focus, well, until I get down to the bottom couple of rows of pages, but it will not be a focus. It will be stitched along with all my other focus pieces. I think this year there are 2 months where it doesn't fit in, where I can't shoehorn it into any of these stitch alongs in the full coverage group. So this is going to come out quite a lot this year because I've really enjoyed working on it. I enjoy the colour swapping. It makes such a nice change after all that grey on Gamer. Just be able to do 3 or 4 stitches and then find you need to change colour. It's nice. So, there we go. Expect some more of this in January. This is fitting into the... Oh, I've got my notes here. Oh, it went a bit wobbly. So this fits into the Element Stitch Along, which starts tomorrow. It's New Year's Eve today. So it starts in 2018. And the element cell is air. And just imagine all those leaves being blown around in the night sky. There's bats in this picture as well. There's a witch flying across the moon. There's lots of air. There's lots of background till I get to the house. So, air. I'm not really setting a goal on this one. Not yet. I've only spent, since between Christmas and New Year, I've had a couple of days where I didn't do anything on it. But I've also had longer to spend on it because I've had time off work. So until I get a page done, 2 pages done, I'm not really going to get a very good idea of how long it's going to take me to do a page. So I'm not setting any goals at the moment. Maybe in mid-year, maybe next year I'll start setting some goals, but not yet. And after finishing Snow Place Like Home, getting back to the smalls, I needed something small to work on. It's just something that I can sit on the sofa and stitch using Q-Snap. This is part 1 of the Blackbird Designs Garden Club series, and it's called Basket of Cherries. I've got the chart there. That's what it'll look like. Basket of Cherries, Blackbird Designs. And so you can see I've got a lot of the cherries done. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen, and I got it on Etsy from Barbara L Creations. I think she's another Hungarian dyer I got a couple of pieces of fabric from. This is a really nice colour. It's called Early Americas, and it's like a earthy pinky brown colour. There's quite a few pinks in this, and it's a garden, so earthy. I thought it would be a good colour choice. It's okay. Some of the colours were struggling to stand out. I think it was in the light. It's when it's artificial light, they struggle to really stand out, but as I'm getting it all stitched and filled in, it's working up better. So the plan is to get all the cross stitching done. There's some satin stitch and some cherries and some Smyrna crosses on the basket, and I'll do those last. But this is 2 evenings work. It stitches up really quickly, so I might do some more on this evening. I've got some bits and pieces to do this evening. I've got a Lego to build. See you in the new year. How party rock and roll. I don't like going out, so I bought Lego. And then when I've built Lego, I'll do some stitching into the new year. So, basket of cherries. And so I thought I'd go on to some of my 2018 plans. Well, very sketchy 2018 plans. The main one is this, Eternal Promise. I started this back in 2012. It needs to get finished. It's not going to get finished this year. I'm not that quick a stitcher, really. And I do get distracted by other things. But this is the next focus piece. So, last year, still this year, 2017, I finished 2 Heaven and Earth Designs projects. I didn't start them. No, 1 Heaven and Earth Design project, 1 Gecko Rouge project. 2 full coverage pieces. I didn't start them in 2017. I don't have all that time to stitch, and I would probably need to be stitching 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's not happening. Wish it could. It doesn't. But anyway, I finished 2, and I finished 2 by focusing. It's my secret weapon. It works. So I'm going to focus on this one. So this will be my main piece for as many of the full coverage fanatics stitch alongs as I can get it into. So there's a count by numbers every month where the challenge is to get 1200 stitches into a piece. Done. I'll do it on this. I'm going to stitch 2 pages. They're large format pages, so they're not as big as the regular format page that I'm doing for Trick or Treat. There's like 5,000 something stitches as opposed to 7,000 stitches. So there's a difference. But it does mean that I can quite comfortably get 2 done a month. So, 2 pages a month on this, starting at the first of the month, and then I'll switch to something else. And that's mostly going to be driven by what the stitch along is for that month. I went through and worked out what I'm going to be stitching in what month, not on what day or what week, just in what month. There's a couple of months where I've got 4 pieces that qualify. That's too much. I'll probably narrow it down to 3 and just miss out on one of the stitch alongs. But for most of them there's 2 or 3. So expect to see some progress. So as I said, I'll be doing 2 pages a month on this one. This month the stitch along that it will be for is the 1200 stitches, and that will be every month. It will be this. It would be nice to finish off this row. How many pages are there? There's 7 pages. It would be nice to get halfway through this. I don't know if that's possible. I think that's 3 rows after this. We'll see. We'll aim for that. That'll be the stretch goal. Finish this row and do 3 more rows of pages. And then I might be able to get it finished in 2019. Well, them finished 2019. So that's my main plan, and also I've just read my notes. The monthly stitch along for the Full Coverage Fanatics stitch along group. Get along to Facebook, join in. The monthly one is, the monthly theme is fantasy. I think the colour is greys. There's loads of greys in this, but it's fantasy. It's Arwen and Aragorn. It's the ultimate fantasy. There we go. She's been holding his head on for so long. He needs a body. She needs a body. She's just keeping her head above the bottom of the page. So, January, this one, main piece. 2 pages done, and I think that will leave me 1 more page to do on this row. I'll obviously be carrying on with Snow Girl and the Winter Stitch Along. Be nice to have that page finished by the time that stitch along ends, which is in March. Rustle of paper. And Trick or Treat will be the Element Stitch Along, as I've already said. I might try and get some more done on Santa Owl. I might take Death by Cross Stitch off the stand, put Santa Owl on and work on him weekend mornings. In terms of small pieces, I'm going to be working on the Garden Club series. I haven't got all of the threads I need for that. I just bought the threads to do that first piece. So I haven't got all of the threads. So there may be some gaps between me finishing a piece and getting all the threads together for the next piece. So I've got lots of small stuff I can work on through the year. Later in the year I want to get some more Christmas bits and pieces done, but Christmas break first. Also lunchtime stitching. I'll probably take in my sample houses and stitch those during lunchtime at work. Might be able to get one of those done a month, that would be nice. This year I have got lots done. So with those 2 full coverage finishes, I've got, I think it worked out to about 44 pages finished. That's a lot. That would take me a good way through this if I did all that on here. It's not going to happen. I also had 13 small finishes, so that's nice as well. Got quite a lot done. Really impressed with it. So my main plan for 2018, my main goal, is to enjoy my stitching, because it's my hobby and that should be my main goal on anything. Main goal, enjoy stitching. I'll flit around this will be my focus piece. I will do my very best to do 2 pages a month on this. I really want to see it grow. Really time to spend some quality time on this one now. It's often been put off. So there we have it. I'll do another update at some point in January, end of January, so you can see where I got to. So you can see some more of the lovely forest that I got to stitch. There's so much brown and grey. Oh, we'll have fun. I don't think there's any other characters in there, but you never know, you might spot a little elf or a hobbit. Probably make it up in the woods. So, I hope you've had a nice restful time this festive season. I hope you have had a good year. If not, I hope everything gets better for you this year. I hope everyone has a great 2018, filled with lots of stitching time, lots of accurate stitching, no visits from the frog. I like frogs, but he's not welcome in my stitching. And just get as much done as you want. So thank you, all my subscribers, random watchers, anyone just stopping by for a quick view. Thank you for stitching with me in 2017, and I hope to spend a lot more time with you in 2018, and I hope you get to love these other projects as much as I know many of you loved watching Gamer grow. So bye for now, I'll see you later.